Thierry, you are in Syria. Could you please just bring us up to date on the situation there?
When you arrive in Syria, you will be very surprised because the facts here are not connected at all with the things that the big medias are talking in Europe and the US. Because you think there is a kind of civil war or an uprising and mass repression, but there is not at all things like that in Syria. The Western countries are preparing a conventional war here in Syria, and they begin to send some fighters. Much of them are from Arab countries and also some Pashtun from Afghanistan and Pakistan. And these people try first to create an Islamic Emirate at the Jordan border. They fail. After that, they try to organize big ambush against the Syrian militaries, and now they organize some attacks inside the towns to kidnap people, kill them, and cut them in pieces. It's absolutely terrific. But there is no revolution. That's not at all the topic here in Syria.
But it's obviously getting stronger. I mean, there are tunnels, there are weapons being supplied, money being pushed in to create a revolution.
Yes, but no, not to create a revolution. It's possible that at the beginning they think to create a revolution, but now they try to organize a civil war between the different religious communities, and sometimes you see in a town suddenly there is confessional violences. It was, for instance, the case in Banyad, near the Lebanon border, 2 months ago, and now there's some real trouble in Homs. Also near Lebanon. But that's not at all a political uprising, not at all. Confessional violences are something very different. And when you see some demonstration against the regime, it's very small demonstration, only 100 or 200 people, and they are not representative from the other people of their own town. That's they call them takfirists. Takfirist is this is a kind of philosophy. They think that a country in the Muslim world must be governed only by real Muslims. They say, and they said that Bashar al-Assad is an Alawite. So another confession, they don't recognize the Alawite as a real Muslim, and they are crying always. They want to kill Bashar al-Assad, not because they want a new kind of regime, but because he is Alawite.
They've just announced they're going to allow the Arab League observers to be in Syria. And everyone is saying they're just going to be agent provocateurs, you're inviting the enemy in?
No. There was a negotiation between the Arab League and the Syrian government, and the Syrian government agree for the main points from the Arab League, including the observators, but the Syrian government tried to have some precise rules how to deal with the observators. And the Arab League decided to suspend Syria from the organization before the end of this period. The Arab League don't wait, but the Syrian government organized the thing. In fact, they ask from one end and they refuse from the other end. So that's not the Syrian government who broke the negotiation, that's the Arab League. absolutely surprised by the way the Western medias are dealing with the situation in Syria, because they reproduce a lot of accusation without any um, any verification of what really happened. The
Just
main
like
source
Libya.
of the Western, just like Libya, yes, just like Libya, absolutely, absolutely. But the main source of information is the so-called Syrian Observatory of Human Rights based in London. And in fact, this group, we don't know if it's a group. They said it is a group, but we know only one people from this group. It could be alone. And that man was very difficult to identify at the beginning, but now everybody knows his name. He has a free passport from Syria, from Great Britain, and from Sweden, and he is one of the leaders of the Syrian Muslim Brotherhood. So that source is from one of the group involved against the Syrian government. So they are at the same time a protagonist and the informant. Of course, you can't do the same thing at the same time.
No. And Turkey's position is just atrocious. I mean, it's just being attacking Syria from all sides, giving protection to the rebels and helping them with weapons.
First, I think there is very few rebels. They will probably develop as rebels, but now there is very few people in such rebels. There is a lot of mercenaries coming from outside, and very few rebels from inside. And the position of Turkey, first we forgot with some words at the Davos conference and about the Freedom Flotilla. We forgot that Turkey is a member of NATO. So Turkey now acts as a member of NATO. And the Erdogan government is not at all free from NATO. Now they decide to transfer all the NATO bases from Spain to Turkey, and also they built in Turkey some new systems to monitor what is happening in Iran. So now Turkey is the biggest NATO basis, in fact.
Amazing. Assad yesterday, he was dressed in fatigues and there was a big military maneuver in live ammunition. They are ready for war, it seems, in Syria.
Yes, of course. And this situation is very different from Libya. Because in Syria, they had the knowledge of what is a war. Because they have done a lot of wars against Israel and also to support Lebanon against Israel. So this region is always at war since 60 years. So it will be much more difficult on the military level against Syria than against Libya. And also, that Libya, it was 5 million people. Syria is 23 million people. So it's much bigger. And Libya was totally alone and don't want to attack NATO. They try to protect themselves, but they don't want to attack NATO. But if NATO will attack Syria, Syria has a lot of friends, especially Russia, Iran, and China. So they will have a big military support. And I'm sorry, I have a trouble just there.
That's okay. Finally, the last question is just in Iraq. The American troops are about to leave, they say by the end of the year, but they're obviously delaying their departure. But the whole Middle East will look very different once the Americans have left Iraq. Do you think that's
Yes.
an important
Yes.
issue?
Yes, of course, that's very important. It means that at the end of this year, the US will conclude the defeat in Iraq. All the GIs have to go away from Iraq. They have built a big military bases for 100 years. They will leave everything. So it's a big defeat. And after that, it's very simple to understand that you will have a big coalition with Hamas in Palestine, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Russia, China. So it's very dangerous for the US. It means the end of the US domination in this part of the world.
Well,
So that's why they have to do something to keep this domination.
or America is leaving Iraq so that it's not caught in a crossfire if it's going to start a war with Iran and Syria.
Yeah, but they leave Iraq, but all the GIs are now not going back to the US. They are going to Kuwait mainly. So there is always the same number of GIs in this part of the world. They change from one country to one another. And they are ready to fight.
It is suspicious that they are leaving Iraq, in my mind. But, sir, can I thank you again for your time and publish this on YouTube?
Oh, okay.